Good morning and vanakkam. In this video, we're going to be reading from Dancing with Shiva, Hinduism's contemporary catechism, written by Sadhguru Sivaya Subramaniya Swami, a richly illustrated sourcebook of Indian spirituality in question and answer form, exploring how to know the divine, honor all creation, and see God everywhere, in everyone. Today's lesson is lesson 31, and we'll begin by reading the caption to the facing image. A farmer sits intently at a gambling table, his grain harvest nearby. Pondering a wager which could make him rich or risk his family's wealth, he knows he is responsible for his karmas, good and bad. Shiva silently witnesses all actions and reactions. Lesson 31. How do Hindus understand karma? Shloka 31. Karma literally means deed or act, and more broadly names the universal principle of cause and effect, action and reaction which governs all life. Karma is a natural law of the mind, just as gravity is a law of matter. Om. Bhashya. Karma is not fate, for man acts with free will, creating his own destiny. The Vedas tell us, if we sow goodness, we will reap goodness. If we sow evil, we will reap evil. Karma refers to the totality of our actions and their concomitant reactions in this and previous lives, all of which determines our future. It is the interplay between our experience and how we respond to it that makes karma devastating or helpfully invigorating. The conquest of karma lies in intelligent action and dispassionate reaction. Not all karmas rebound immediately. Some accumulate and return unexpectedly in this or other birth. The several kinds of karma are personal, family, community, national, global, and universal. Ancient rishis perceived personal karma's threefold edict. The first is sanchita, the sum total of past karmas yet to be resolved. The second is prarabdha, that portion of sanchita to be experienced in this life. Kriyamana, the third type, is karma we are currently creating. The Vedas propound. Here they say that a person consists of desires, and as is his desire, so is his will. As is his will, so is his deed. Whatever deed he does, that he will reap. Om Namah Shivaya. Good morning and vanakkam. In this video, we're going to be reading from Living with Shiva, Hinduism's contemporary culture, written by Sadhguru Sivaya Subramaniya Swami. 365 daily lessons based on ancient Vedic laws, disclosing how to approach family, money, relationships, technology, food, worship, yoga, and karma to live a truly spiritual life. Today's lesson is lesson 186, and the topic is laws against child beating. In England, in 1996, a 12-year-old boy who had been caned by his stepfather made headlines in a human rights court by challenging British laws that permit parents to use corporal punishment, but only to the extent of reasonable chastisement. Hundreds of children marched through central London on April 15, 2000, to demand an end to smacking. They ended their protest at 10 Downing Street, the residence of the Prime Minister, where they handed in a letter urging him to ban all physical punishment of children. Smacking children under any circumstance has been banned in Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Austria, Finland, Croatia, Latvia, Italy, Israel, Cyprus, and Germany. Progress toward legal reforms are underway elsewhere in the UK, Switzerland, Poland, Spain, Scotland, Canada, Jamaica, New Zealand, Mexico, Namibia, South Africa, Sri Lanka, the Republic of Ireland, and Belgium. In India, battering is widely considered perfectly acceptable and is encouraged in homes as well as in schools, ashramas, and gurukulas among all castes and classes. However, the Supreme Court of Delhi has recently banned physical punishment of children in the state. In the US, all states except Minnesota permit parents to use reasonable corporal punishment on children, and the law for schools, institutions, foster care, and daycare facilities varies from state to state, even with caning still allowed in some. In schools, happily, the trend is away from corporal punishment. Almost every industrialized country in the world, and many pre-industrial countries as well, now prohibit it in school. See www.endcorporalpunishment.org for an up-to-date list. In the US, 27 states plus the District of Columbia have bans, with legislation underway in many more. The national newspaper USA Today wrote in 1990, as millions of children across the USA prepare to go back to school, teachers are laying down their weapons, the paddles they used to dole out corporal punishment. A teacher does best armed only with knowledge. Corporal punishment is a cruel and obsolete weapon. In Canada, only the provinces of British Columbia, New Brunswick, and the territory of Yukon have banned corporal punishment in schools. In London, in response to a move to reinstitute beating, public school teachers said they would not cane even if lobbying by conservative members of parliament was successful, while Christian bishops and priests are trying very hard to reinstitute beatings in their schools. Abolition of corporal punishment in African schools is also quickly spreading. A high-level Zambian court declared corporal punishment in schools to be unconstitutional, and the Kenyan Minister of Education in March 2001 discarded sections of the law that permitted corporal punishment. Laws, however, are no guarantee of protection. Consider the nation of Mauritius, where laws have prohibited battering of children since 1957, but have never been enforced, and children are mercilessly abused in schools to this very day. I've had Hindus tell me, slapping or caning children to make them obey is just part of our culture. I don't think so. Hindu culture is a culture of kindness. Hindu culture teaches ahimsa, non-injury physically, mentally, and emotionally. It preaches against himsa, hurtfulness. It may be British Christian culture, which for 150 years taught Hindus in India the biblical adage, to spare the rod is to spoil the child. But it's not Hindu culture to beat the light out of the eyes of children, to beat the trust out of them, to beat the intelligence out of them and force them to go along with everything in a mindless way and wind up doing a routine, uncreative job the rest of their life. Then take their built-up anger out on their children and beat that generation down to nothingness. This is certainly not the culture of an intelligent future, nor is an overly permissive approach. A senior sadhu from the Swami Narayan Fellowship's 654-member order of sadhus who visited us recently echoed our thoughts on child beating and emphasized the need for firm, even stern correction and teaching right from wrong. Parents these days fail to impart what is good and what is not good, he said. As a result, a very crude society is being developed. I advise parents, if you are guilty of beating your children, apologize to them, show remorse and perform the child beating penance, bala tadayatti prayaschitta, to atone. Gain their friendship back, open their heart and never hit them again. Open channels of communication, show affection. Even if you never beat your children, be alert in your community to those who do and bring them to your understanding that a happy, secure family is free from violence. Sutra 186 of the Nandinada Sutras. The Ayurvedic vegetarian diet. Shiva's devotees cook and eat in the balanced, varied vegetarian Indian Ayurvedic manner, enjoying healthy, unprocessed, freshly cooked foods. Occasionally, they may partake of cuisine from other world cultures. Om. Good morning and vanakkam. In this video, we'll be reading from Merging with Shiva, Hinduism's Contemporary Metaphysics, written by Sadguru Sivaya Subramania Swami. 365 Enlightenment Lessons from a Mystical Master, revealing the depths of Raja Yoga, the clear white light, the states of mind, and the ultimate spiritual destiny of every seeker. Today's lesson is Lesson 186, and the topic is Resolution Through Dreams. Through the powers of meditation, one can straighten out a few of the subconscious mind's predominant misprogrammings that cause tendencies that make us act in certain ways. The subconscious mind can be understood consciously when the thoughts which created this sub are traced. These will usually be found when the conscious mind is at its lowest ebb. When resting, it is possible to study the sub of the subconscious mind with ease. The body is relaxed and the conscious mind has loosened its hold on external objects. When study has commenced, trace through all the thought pictures consciously without disturbing the overall picture. Take into consideration the fact that all thought stems from a series of influences within the ego. These influences take form and shape in thought. When you manifest pictures before you, trace them to their conception by holding the consciousness lightly over the mind, blotting out all distractions that may creep into the mind in an effort to disturb your consciousness. Take your findings, whatever they may be, and consciously think them through until all doubts have been dispelled. You will then find that through your conscious effort, the sub of the subconscious mind has been understood consciously as well as subconsciously. Generally, this process occurs automatically. We resolve the obstacle in the dream state. When we meditate deeply before sleep, we pass through the dream world and enter superconsciousness. From here, the work is done on the subconscious mind. Should we try to remember these dreams or analyze them and meditate at the same time, we would re-impress them again in the subconscious and strengthen these same patterns and tendencies. When we have had a long series of peculiar dreams, often this is the subconscious mind working out these habit patterns and tendencies and throwing them back into the subconscious to be programmed beautifully and correctly. To clear the subconscious of uncomfortable happenings, especially if you are living a good religious life and performing regular sadhana, you can simply command it to clear itself. It will do so during the in-between dream state that you have experienced just before awakening. Therefore, the advice is, when you are going through your first stages of unfoldment, clarifying and reprogramming the sub of the subconscious mind, do not analyze your dreams. And that's it for today's lesson. Take care of yourselves, have a beautiful day, and we'll see you in the next video. Om Namah Shivaya.